G'day and welcome to another video. In today's lesson we are going to learn how to make the basket weave stitch. We'll be using a pattern from Umberto Designs, and Rhonda has very kindly let me use her pattern for this project. This is also part of the Christmas Eve cast on, which is every year we have a project that everybody starts on Christmas Eve. There will be a Facebook group for this, and I will put a link for you in the description box. Rhonda has lots of lovely free written patterns located on her website, and I will put the link that you need in the description box so you can go and check out some more great free patterns. For my scrap basket weave blanket, I used all the odds and ends that I had of Red Heart Super Saver. This is a 10 ply or a worsted weight yarn, and if you're in the UK it is equivalent to an Aran weight. But you can use any thickness of yarn that you like. I used 3 strands at once, but you can make it with 1 strand, you can make it with 2, or you can make it with as many as you like. With 3 strands of worsted weight yarn, I used a 12mm crochet hook. When one of my strands ran out on my blanket, I just added in another colour. There wasn't any method to the colours that I used, I just grabbed one out of my basket and added it in. I cannot wait to see what you make with this pattern. This pattern can be used to make a dishcloth if you use some cotton yarn. You can use this pattern to make a scarf and also a blanket. So let's get started on the lesson. For your supplies, we're going to need a yarn needle with a large eye, a pair of scissors, a crochet hook to go with your yarn. I am going to be using a 6mm crochet hook today. But what you want to do is look at your yarn label, and that will show you what you need to use with your yarn. Today we're going to use Red Heart with Love in metallic. This is a very bright pink. It is called Fuchsia, and it is bright. It's looking pretty bright on the camera, so yeah, it's not lying. And it's got this beautiful sparkle through it. It is a number 4 weight yarn. For us Australians, that is a 10 ply, where it's an Aran weight for everybody in the UK. This project will work with any thickness of yarn, so if you have a DK weight yarn, which is a number 3, or an 8 ply, or you have thicker yarn, it's completely up to you what you use for this project. I've just used the Red Heart Fashion Soft in a previous video. That was really nice to work with, and also the Red Heart Soft yarn, that's a DK weight, that's really nice to work with as well. And it's really squishy. We need to start with a slip knot. You can do this any way that you like. And on our pattern it says that this pattern works with a multiple of 8 chains plus 4. The sample that's worked in the pattern has 28 chains. If you want to make yours wider than that, so if you wanted to make a big blanket like we're doing for the scrap blanket that is for this project, then you can chain a lot more than 28, and you just chain in multiples of 8. So what that means, if you make 8 chains, and of course that's not wide enough for really any project, so you want to chain another 8 chains. And so on. So we're going to chain another 8 chains. And once we get to the project wide enough, then we're going to add 4 stitches. So 4 chains on the end. So far I have 24 chains, and then that's 3 lots of 8. And then you want to add 4 to the end. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That brings us up to the 28 chains that we need for this pattern. So this is just a sample. This is going to work really well if you want to make squares for a blanket, because we do single crochet around the outside of this sample, and what you can do is join them all together. So you can use up lots of scrap yarn. You could also use it to make a huge blanket just as one big square, and then obviously you would do a lot more chains than your 28 that we've done. As long as you keep it in multiples of 8 and add 4 on the end, you can make it as wide as you like. You can make it coin size bed if you wanted to. These will make brilliant dishcloths if you use a cotton yarn, which was what I was looking for, and I thought I had some in my stash, but apparently I don't. And also, you can use this to make a scarf. So at the moment it's 28 stitches across, so you would make your chain as wide as you want your scarf, and then you just keep going for your length. So when this pattern tells us to finish off, you don't finish off, you just keep going. Same with the blanket, you just keep going. But this is just for the sample so that you can get used to the pattern. So that's a great practice. So after we have our chains in multiples of 8 plus 4, we are going to begin in the 4th chain from the hook. 3 skip chains count as 1 double crochet. So we're going to do 1 double crochet in the 4th chain from the crochet hook. We do not count the one that's already on our crochet hook, so that's 1, 2, 3 and 4. And we work a double crochet into there. And 1 double crochet in each stitch across. If I can find where to put my crochet hook, there we go. This is so pretty, this yarn. Whoopsie. I always find the very first row the most fiddly because there's nothing to hang on to, and you feel like you've just started to learn to crochet. So one double crochet in each stitch across. So pause the video and I'll meet you when we are at the end. So I now have 26 stitches, and that includes the very first one here, which was just our turning chain. And I just realized too that I had the fan going before, just in that first part of the video, so I'm sorry if that was interrupting. It shouldn't have been too noisy, it was only a little fan. So row 2, we're going to turn our work around, and we're going to chain 2, and this counts as a half double crochet. The majority of this project is worked in double crochet, but on the beginning and the end of our rows we do a half double crochet. And I've never seen that before in a pattern with like front post stitches and stuff. I haven't done a lot, but I haven't seen it either, but it really works. I really like it. We're going to do 1 front post double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. So yarning over, and in the next 4, so we've done that one because there's one above it. So the next one is your second stitch across, and it's going to be a front post. So we're going to go from the front around the back, grab your yarn and complete your double crochet. Again, around the back and complete your double crochet. From the front around the back, and we need 4 altogether, so that's 3. Into the next 4 stitches we are going to work 1 back post double crochet. So we just did our front because our crochet hook was coming in from the front. Now it's going to come in from the back. So yarn over, go around the back to the next stitch, which is here. Go in front with your crochet hook, poke it back out the back and work your double crochet. Again, around the back, crochet hook pokes out the front and around that stitch, and then pull through and complete your double crochet. So That's 2, we need 4 altogether. So hands up, who is trying this this basket weave stitch for the first time? I know there's a lot of people that don't like it or think it's going to be really hard, and putting my hand up, that was me. Before I tried this a little while ago, I thought it was going to be too hard. It's really not. I think I was overthinking it. So now we want to just repeat that. So what we need to do, we've just done our 4 back post. Now we're going to do our 4 front post. And that's our repeat all the way across. It's 4 front and then 4 back, 4 front, 4 back, and then you just repeat that all the way. So pause the video and I'll meet you when we are at the end. You can see it's starting to sort of form a pattern. So pause the video and I'll meet you at the end. So you would have ended with 4 back post double crochets, and then we've got our chain stitch here, which is where we are going to work our half double crochet. So we're going to find the top of that stitch, 1, 2 and 3, and we're going to work into the top of that chain for a half double crochet. So it was yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through all 3. It's a great, I'm going to say it again, it's a great way to finish on this row for this type of pattern. So row 3, we're going to do a chain 2, and if we look at our work, we can see it's a front post because they're all sticking to the front. A back post, your stitches are at the back hiding around here, or you've got that ridge, that's your back post stitches. Your front posts are just all flat. So what we need to do is repeat row 2, which is 4 front post double crochet, so going around the stitches for a front post stitch, and then we've got 4 back post stitch. So again, we're going to work around the back. So go around the back. It's a little bit harder to see because it kind of hides away, but once you know where it is, it's pretty good. And then if you look at your work in the row below, you can see we've got front post, so we're going to do 4 front post, and then we're going to repeat this across, working our 4 front post and our 4 back post stitches. This is a very fitting yarn for Christmas time because it's sparkly. So you can see it's sort of forming a pattern already. So work your way across and I'll meet you when we are at the end of the row. When we get to the ends, we're going to work a half double crochet in the turning chain that just there. Try and go through 2 loops. It just makes it a bit of a more neater edge. So we're going to turn our work around, chain 2. Row 4 and 5 is the same. So we've done our chain 2, and we're going to work 1 back post double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. So row 4 is where it changes. So if you're looking at a front post, which of these ones, you're going to work a back post. I'm going to do that in the next 4 stitches. Don't forget, if I'm going too quick, you can always pause the video. You can also slow me down in the settings tab, which on a PC, on my PC, when you're looking at the video screen, it's just on the bottom right of the video screen where there's a black bar where like the play button is and everything. Just on that bottom black bar there, it's just along there. You can slow me down if you want to. You can also speed me up, which is hilarious because I sound like a chipmunk. In the next 4 stitches, we are going to work 1 front post double crochet. So around the front with these ones. And that is our repeat all the way across. So now we're up to the front posts on the row below, so we know we need to change that to a back post. Ugh. Yep, I know how to crochet. What's going on? Here we go, we're on a roll. I don't know why, but I find the back posts a lot harder. And then into the front of these ones, because previously they were back post double crochet. And also it matches up with what the pattern is going across the row. So we need to do 4 front posts. Repeat this all the way across, keeping in your pattern of 4 front posts, 4 back posts. And I will meet you when we are at the end. Just pause the video and I'll see you there. When we're at the end, we don't want to forget that last stitch, otherwise our project will get smaller and smaller. Yes, yes it will. So it's our half double crochet in that last one, and you can see our pattern starting to form. Looks really, really good. So row 5 is exactly the same as what we just did. So we chain 2, turn your work, chain 2. And then you're looking at your crochet stitches along here, and you can see that that's a back post. So you're going to do 4 back posts. You can see that these here are front posts because at the front you're going to do 4 back posts. So let's do it. My yarn always gets stuck at the most inconvenient time. I need like a little minion or something. Is that what those little yellow things are called? And he could sit on my desk and just unwind my yarn for me. How cool would that be if you had like little helpers? And I could make him a beanie. Oh dear. Way too much imagination. So you're going to repeat that across. We've just done 4 back posts, 4 front post, and then you're going to do your back front combination all the way across, and you're going to half double crochet in the end like what we've been doing. And what we want to do is we want to repeat the last row 2 to row 5. That is our repeat for this pattern. If you're not sure what that is, you can always rewind the video, or you can look at your written pattern. Of course, we have been showing you what to do if you don't know how to read a written pattern, so that would be helping you quite a lot. And you can see our pattern starting to forming there. And that's the repeat for this pattern. It's only got 4 rows. And really, you've only got to concentrate on one of them, because it's when you need to change to get the second lot of basket weave. So the first 2 rows are the same. So if we could turn our work, so we're going to do a repeat. The first 2 rows are the same, and they start with a front post double crochet, because if you look at this, we've just done 2 rows of back post, so our next 2 rows are front post double crochets. The 2 rows after that start with back post double crochets. That's all you've got to remember. If you can just remember how it starts, because you've done the pattern now and you've practiced a few rows, you're going to remember what comes next. Because if you start with, so our next lot of stitches here is front post. Once you've done your 4 front posts, you're going to know that your next row, your next lot of stitches is back post. Also, if you look at the row below, that's going to tell you as well. If you can see 2 rows of front post already, you know your next row has to have 2 rows of back post on top of that. So continue on repeating those 4 rows, and in total we're going to repeat it 3 more times. So you're going to have this section 3 more times. So pause the video and I'll see you when we're ready for the edging. Here is my little sample worked up. And how do you know if you've done enough rows? If you're like me, you would have got lost in how many rows you had done, and it said to repeat it 3 times, and I was like, oh no, I'm lost. So there's a great photo on Rhonda's website that shows you the finished project, and looking at hers, and if you have yours the right way, so your tail will be on the left hand side. If you're left-handed, your tail will be on the right hand side. And looking at Rhonda's work, there's 4 blocks of front post double crochet, which is here. So there's 1, 2, 3, and the 4th one is at the top. And if you look on this side, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 lots of front post double crochet. That's how you know if you've done the right amount of rows. You may have counted yours and got yours that way, but I completely lost count. I was sitting there for ages going, have I done the right amount? And I hadn't. I was actually 2 rows short, so that's how I figured it out. And I think it's 17 rows altogether. I'm just going to double check that again. The easiest way to count it, because I've just counted it about 4 times, is looking at your blocks. If you start with your front post blocks and count those in 2s, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and then we have the beginning row, which is 17 rows in total. We are now ready to do the edging, so I've got it facing the same way as when I had to finish that last stitch, and I'm just going to turn it sideways, and we're going to work evenly single crochets all the way around. In Rhonda's pattern it says that single crochet around the entire square evenly. My square was 25 stitches on each side. So that's what you're aiming for. If you get 26 or 24, don't worry about it. But whatever you get, if you are making squares to make a blanket, make sure you get that on every single one. Otherwise, when you go to join it, it's not going to work. So I'm just going to chain 1 first and then single crochet. And I'm just going to go into the spaces on the ends here. You could actually go through the chain there, but just for quickness, I'm just going to go into the spaces. Let's see if I can bring this a bit closer. Basically what you want to do is just single crochet. See how there's been a big gap left there? You know that you need to put one a little bit closer. Ooh, what is going on? See, another big gap. You want to make sure, put it a bit closer. If your edge starts to ruffle, you know you've got too many stitches in there, and then just going to have to pull it back out and try again. So if you look at it, it should lay flat. That should be straight. Ooh, I'm doing pretty good. Pretty happy with that. That should be straight. And yeah, like I said, if it starts to ruffle, if it starts to do this, it means there's like too many stitches in there. If it starts to curve, it means there's not enough. So you're aiming for it to stay flat. I do have 15 years experience up my sleeve, so I should be able to get it pretty straight. But trust me, there are times when it does not work. Now I've said that, this bit will probably ruffle up. I'm not actually counting, I'm just putting in stitches. It'll be interesting to see how many I get. When we get to the end, we are going to put 3 single crochet into the corner there. It doesn't actually say that on the pattern, I can't see. But I know if I don't, that's going to make the corner curl up, and I just want it to lay flat. So into the last stitch, you got to do 3 single crochet. Ooh, see how there's a bit of a kink there? That looks pretty good too. And also if it flares, if this bit flares out, sort of, I can't show you an angle, if it flares out like that, it means there's too many as well. So let's see how many I've got. I've got 26, and that does not include the 3 on the corner. So that's pretty good. So we're going to turn it this way and going to work along. And now we're working on the bottom edge, and I'm going to single crochet over that tail there. So we're working into the chain, which is our starting chain. So, and we're going to work single crochet all the way across. I'm sorry I was so far away from the camera, I did not realise. So I'm going into the chain. So please share your creations on Facebook. I'd love to see what you're up to. This is part of the Christmas Eve cast on, so there is going to be a Facebook group or a Facebook event or something like that. The link that you need will be in the description box, and that way you can all come over and share your project. Share your project with us. And you can see what everybody else has done using up scraps, or some people may just use one colour, who knows. It's whatever you have a lot of at your place. I don't have many scraps at the moment because, oh, I was just about to say I don't have many scraps because they're in my scrap blanket. That's what I'm making for this video. Yep. It's 20 to 8 o'clock. Yeah, I'm tired. It's 20 to 8 at night, and I'm trying to get this video done for the Christmas Eve cast on, so I'm not making any sense at all. Coming up to the end here, so I'm going to do 3 single crochet in the end. I'm going to turn my work around. I'm just going to fold this, it seems to be working much better. Get close to the camera to see what I'm doing. And then we're going to single crochet in every stitch across.